It's the music, stupid, number 56. Okay. 1970. This song swept the nation on AM radio. A drug song by a folk duo that was on their third album, recorded in San Francisco. Brewer and Shipley's Tario Road. I believe this is the first pressing, and it says Tario Road on the label, even though the album is really just called Tario. I believe they changed it, Kama Sutra Records, label of the Lovin' Spoonful. Now, this song was huge. At least it was in the Bay Area. Probably where you are. If you're in a college town, you heard One Toke Over the Line, Sweet Jesus. Waiting in the railroad station, one toke over the night. You know what's great about it? Seek out on YouTube the Lawrence Welk Show, where they sing One Toke Over the Line, Sweet Jesus. Do you think they knew what that song was really about? And they were just singing it because it was about Jesus? I don't know. I don't think so. But this is their third album, produced by Nick Gravenitis, who was kind of a blues player, singer, producer, who worked, who was associated with the Electric Flag, the kind of Chicago East Coast a blues, electric blues outfit. Mike Bloomfield, Elvin Bishop, I guess. And this is their third album. They have a bunch of albums, most of them recorded at Wally Hyder's in San Francisco with a lot of people from around San Francisco. Jerry Garcia actually plays pedal steel on this album. And the whole album is great. The harmonies of these two, Brewer and Shipley, the two Brewer and Shipleys, the Brewer and the Shipley, are just really beautiful. And I bought this album in 1970, so I'm a 16-year-old 16-year-old buying the song because of One Toke Over the Line, Sweet Jesus. And my parents didn't care. I wasn't into the drug scene yet. Never really into the drug scene. Another song on here which got a lot of airplay, at least not this version. I can't remember the guy's name where I first heard it. FM radio in the Bay Area played Wichita Tao, which is the Indian peyote song. Wichita Tao, Wikana, Hoanika, hey, ho, na. And there's a beautiful version on here, folk version, and I go into that song. Just lovely, beautiful sounding record. Maybe this needs a UHQR 45 RPM. I kid you. But these records, I have, I think, 4 of 5 of their records, and you can get these dirt cheap. And if you like folk rock, if you like folk music, you like that singer-songwriter early 70s thing that I was all over, this is a wonderful record. And there's other songs. Every song is great on it. Beautiful recording. Mark Naftalin also is on it, playing piano and organ. So Mike Brewer and Tom Shipley, acoustic guitars and vocals. Brewer and Shipley, Tario, otherwise known as Tario Road. Okay, now this is a record, you actually see this record a lot cheap also. And I think it did come out in America, but I've always had a British edition on Chrysalis record. And don't be turned off by the cover. If you are into, again, I'm getting into that whole British folk thing of the late 60s into the 70s. I believe this was 1975 this record came out. And this was the first of a series of records under this moniker, the Silly Sisters. And this cover is whacked, but this is great. Maddie Pryor and June Tabor. Maddie Pryor from the folk rock outfit out of the UK, Steel Eye Span, and June Tabor. This is such a beautiful record. Oh God, it's got a lot of the musicians of the day. of the folk rock day there. And they're doing sort of June Tabor and Matty Pryor are doing this traditional English and somewhat Gaelic at times, uh, you know, drinking songs and songs like about women and sexual tension, all the stuff, all the stuff. It's got a great Irish lilt to it, a British Irish lilt of old ye England, and it really is a magnificent record. And it's acoustic based, great harmony vocals. It's a very lively, dancing a jig in a pub type folk record. I'm really explaining this one really really well, but but stream it, you know. And if you like that description, this is a fantastic album. I've had this record almost 50 years now, and it is amazing. So the Silly Sisters, June Tabor and Matty Pryor, they did some other things over the years, collaborated different projects, and there's members of Pentangle on here and other of the traditional crossover folk rock bands of the early 70s. So Silly Sisters, very wonderful record. I am a fan, and I've showcased the work of J.J. Cale. This is a record that a lot of people don't know about. Obviously, he was on Shelter Records for years and Naturally, and of course, most people know him because of his songs, even if you don't know his music. J.J. Cale, you know his songs. You know Cocaine, the song made famous by Eric Clapton. You know After Midnight, the song made famous by Eric Clapton. You know what Leonard Skinner did one of his songs, and I'm just totally gonna blank out on the name right. The Wind, something about the wind. But great songwriter. His songs have been covered, and he used to talk about, when he was off work and he's up at his ranch in California, the valley, wherever it was, he'd take that long walk out down to the mailbox, open it up, and pick up his royalty checks, mostly from Eric Clapton and Leonard Skinner. But this record is different. This came out, I guess, in 90, what year is this? 96, this came out. I remember having the CD originally of this and driving with my family to Monterey. We were staying down in Carmel Valley there and playing this CD. And the opening track on here, Death in the Wilderness, has this really assaulting acoustic guitar bit that's really dynamic and really wonderful. Another fun song on here, Days Go By. It's kind of a slow, jazzy, almost like a beat poet number. He's talking about, the days go by, I'll think I'll smoke another, have another hit, smoke another thing. What is it? When you light that funny cigarette, would you pass it back to me? I'm feeling a little down and out, and I'll just it'll keep me company. I'm just a long lost sinner living life here on the line. I'll give it right back to you. I know it's not really mine. Now don't put it out, not right yet. It's burning pretty good. Maybe you'll have one more toke. Ooh, days gone by. I just sit around and get real high. Ooh, what a glow. I just hang out. They come and go. How wonderful is that? Obviously not the only drug-related song J.J. Cale wrote. And I saw him several times over the years. He's one of those almost shy players, had a really kind of soothing vocal style. Great guitar playing, very low-key, smoky, smoldering, bluesy folk rock, and sexy sounding. Just the way he just is so swampy in his playing. But Guitar Man, it's hard to find this one on vinyl, but any way you can get it, it's an amazing record. Now something, I guess I am staying a little bit in the kind of folky, rootsy thing here. This is a record, I'm thinking it's his fifth record, but I don't remember now. This is a record called Crippled Crow by Devendra Banhart. Now, he originally was born in Venezuela, I think, grew up in Texas, went to the San Francisco Art Institute, and in 2000 he dropped out of the Art Institute to play music. and I really like him. I used to see him around the Bay Area a lot, and he was on Nunsuch for a while. I don't know if he still is. Been on several labels. He's kind of like a Don. I compare him to Donovan. He doesn't sound like Donovan. In fact, he's got a more quavering vocal style of folk music. Sometimes he fits into a little bit of the bossa nova thing happening with like folk bossa. Think folk bossa nova, um, Latin, jazzy, twee, twee music. On the I think they changed the cover for the vinyl version. It's two LPs. There's more synthesizer and mellotron on this one than his other records that are more acoustic based, but it's still really a organic record in essence. But it's got a little gypsy hippie thing going on, and all the photographs, all these people, this sort of Sergeant Pepper parody are apparently his fans. I don't know if they sent pictures in. I don't know the whole story about this. Maybe someone can tell me. These are his fans. I don't know if it's all his fans. I'm not on there. I never sent a picture. I don't know if he downloaded a picture from me. There is a lyrical poster that comes in this edition. He cut his hair. He used to have this long hair, very hippie-like. And now I think that's him on the, right here, I believe. Ugh. You know, these posters, you can't get them full frame in the picture. But Devendra Banhart, just throwing on the floor, Maslow. Banhart, Devendra Banhart. This is Cripple Crow. Check his music out because it's really good. Again, I'm a big folky, and I love this type of music. So a little bit of quiver in his voice, a little like an accent there, Venezuelan American Art Institute, San Francisco Art Institute, which is no more, unfortunately. But really a wonderful record. And lastly, switching gears completely, a record, their only album on Columbia Records. They got a big deal, and then after this record, they were dropped. Clive Davis wouldn't put out their second record. I think they got a good deal to begin with. And this is the sole record of Copperhead. I love this record cover. I love that woman with the snake. They were, I think a lot of us in the Bay Area who grew up in with the San Francisco ballroom scene and the psychedelic scene, especially Quicksilver Messenger Service, were so excited when we heard about Copperhead. I did see them once, and they were more of a straight-ahead rock and roll band. They're a rock band, but with a little bit of a quirky edge to it. But the claim to fame for people like me and fans of Quicksilver is the guitar playing of John Cipollina, the great, that SG sound he had. He did that collaboration with the Man Band, the Welsh band also. But this should have been a bigger album, and they were going to do this sort of smaller label thing, and one of the guys left the group to work with Rod Stewart. I forgot, was it Pete Sears, I think, who would later go on to play with Jefferson Starship. There is the band. But there was one song here that got a lot of airplay in the Bay Area because, it's a title track here, because there's a lot of reasons. It's called Roller Derby Star. And roller derby was the big thing in the Bay Area in the late 60s into the 70s, and especially this one roller derby star by the name of Ann Calvello. And she was, I guess roller derby exists. I don't know where it is, but it was big. It was on the independent channel 2, like on the weekends or at night, whenever it was. They broadcast, and as a kid or teenager, I watched roller derby. I thought it was kick-ass. Not rollerball, but roller derby, but it was just as violent. And that was the song that was played all over the radio at that time when this came out in 1973. Again, one and done, then it didn't really do. In fact, the album stiffed. Another song called Kibitzer is pretty good, and the song Kamikaze, A Little Hand. It's a good record. It's not a brilliant record. It's not a psychedelic record. Unfortunately, I wanted more John Cipollina, his guitar playing. It's there. It's here. but it's not like it was on those first two or three, the first three, two especially, Quicksilver Messenger records on Capitol Record. And I think Clive Davis was hoping for something a little different. Of course, remember, this is, Journey also got signed to Columbia in the 70s. So they were not that at all. I'm not even a big Journey fan, but I understand how great their singles were and how, stadium based they were. But this is, I would say, if you see it cheap, pick it up if you like that. And if you want to hear that great guitar playing of John Cipollina there. We lost him way too young. Let's see, anything else on here? Produced by Copperhead and David Brown. I believe David Brown, he played with Santana. Wasn't he the Santana's bass player on that? I think, if that's the same David Brown. But, it's a good record. It's not a great record. Recorded at the Record Plant Los Angeles and Sausalito, at Wally Heider San Francisco, at Columbia Records San Francisco, October 72 to February 73. It's one of those things. John Cipollina, Gary Philippette on vocals, guitars, bottleneck and organ, Jim McPherson, vocals, piano, bass, and percussion, Hutcherson, vocals and bass, and David Weber, drums and percussion. If you know where any of those people are, please, they left their record in Mazzy's library. So thanks for watching. It's the Music, Stupid. You can still get these. There's a button below. You can order them in the UK or in America if you want a t-shirt. This is Heather Gray. I happen to like Heather Gray quite a bit. Mazzy loves you. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the music, stupid.